Different eras in boxing. I want to talk about the best and the worst eras that I seen in boxing.
Hey,
social media has ruined the world, but it also ruined boxing. Nobody cares about the truth anymore if the lie is more entertaining. In the Mike Tyson era of boxing, if you even said you was better than Mike Tyson, Tyson fought you. The Julio Cesar Chavez era of boxing. I personally think that Julio Cesar Chavez was a bum. But I will say that Julio Cesar Chavez fought everybody and Chavez never ducked a soul. In the Oscar De La Hoya era of boxing, even though Oscar De La Hoya wears women's clothes these days, when Oscar De La Hoya was fighting, Oscar looked for the toughest challenges he could find. Oscar De La Hoya never ducked anybody. The greatest fighter of all time, Floyd Mayweather Jr. I'm talking pretty boy Floyd Mayweather. The most ducked fighter in his prime. Nobody wanted to fight pretty boy Floyd Mayweather because Mayweather was a dog. He was knocking everybody out in his weight class, took on the biggest threats, fought fighters in their prime. Unlike Canelo Alvarez, he beat up the Manny Pacquiaos of his era. He beat up the Canelo Alvarezes. He dominated Canelo Alvarez.
fuck you, man.
Fast forward to 2021, the social media era of boxing. The Canelo Alvarez era of boxing. The dick riding era of boxing. The era of boxing where all clowns do is look at their cell phone and believe everything they hear.
Fuck you, man.
One of the biggest lies of today is that Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing. Canelo Alvarez can test positive twice and his fans will still dick ride him. Canelo Alvarez can duck mandatory opponents and his fans will still dick ride him. The Canelo Alvarez era of boxing is so bad that clowns like Jake Paul could sneak into the sport and steal viewers. Let me tell you why. If Canelo Alvarez gave us all the fights we wanted to see, then clowns like Jake Paul would not sneak into the sport and steal viewers from the casual fan. The casual fan should be looking at the face of boxing. The face of boxing should be able to draw the casual fan in. Because of Canelo Alvarez, clowns like Jake Paul exist in boxing. When David Benavidez became Canelo's mandatory 2 days ago, Canelo Alvarez decided to move up and fight a guy named Hakuna Matata. Makabu, or whatever his name is. When Jamal Charlo became Canelo Alvarez mandatory, Canelo Alvarez ducked him. Canelo Alvarez proves that this is the worst era in boxing because of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez and his fans have destroyed the sport we all love. The reason I say his fans helped them destroy the sport is because Canelo Alvarez fans are okay with him doing this. They don't give a damn about the sport of boxing. Canelo Alvarez fans are not fans of boxing. They are fans of Canelo Alvarez. Dick riders. Typical social media trolls. I never met one single Canelo Alvarez fan on the face of the earth who could actually fight. Canelo Alvarez fans are what is wrong with the world today. They look for the biggest outlet for cowards, the internet. Canelo Alvarez fans live in comment sections. Canelo Alvarez fans be racist in comment sections. This upcoming fight that Canelo Alvarez is taking against Hakuna Matata, I mean Makabu, or whatever his name is, because I never heard of him and you haven't either. The thing about this fight is that nobody asked for this fight. Boxing fans are not asking for this fight. Nobody wants to see this fight except the social media dick riders who think Canelo is some type of great. This is what I mean about Canelo Alvarez ruining the sport. David Benavidez just became Canelo Alvarez mandatory for the WBC. Doesn't that sound exciting? David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. Doesn't that sound like the fight that everybody should want to see?
No.
Not on Canelo's watch. Canelo Alvarez don't care about destroying the sport of boxing because he's given us a fight that nobody asked for. Didn't nobody know who Makambu was, and nobody ever will know who he is. Canelo Alvarez is giving us a fight that nobody cares for except the Canelo Alvarez dick rider. I'll leave y'all with this. Out of all the eras that I've seen in boxing, this era right here, the Canelo era, the social media era of boxing, gotta be the worst era in the history of the sport.
I know that.
Canelo Alvarez and Canelo Alvarez dick riders are a disgrace to boxing. I stand on that.
Because I represent Mexico.
Because I represent Mexico.
Because I represent Mexico.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Payday. You want payday? I know that.